So you, Tommy, and Stevie play, and then eventually. How long did you jam for? Like, I know, I know I'm going through all this shit. I'm getting self-conscious here that I'm dragging you through the same stuff.
No, it's okay. You know.
I'm going to try to ask different questions because everybody knows the story, the David Bowie stuff and all of that. You know, David Bowie saw you. Actually, would you mind telling the getting booed in France thing just because people know me for getting booed in Philly?
No, I got to tell you, this was hilarious because the woman, Luann Barton, I had to say it, we fired her from the band for misconduct, if you will. And she gets a big record deal from Jerry Wexler.
Wait, where was she in the band? She was in the Triple Threat?
Yeah, and she was originally in Double Trouble for just a little bit. And she was the lead singer. She sang most all the material.
Okay.
So she's out of the band. She gets a deal with Jerry Wexler discovers her in New York, gets her a deal on Elektra. She does this record, get the Muscle Shoals rhythm section. Don Fry sings. All these people come in. So when her record release comes to be, she goes, you guys want to play at my record release party? I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so, you let her go.
Yeah, no, right.
Thing. She did she do it out of spite? You think or no?
Well, hell, I don't know. You know, maybe I could call her and ask her, but we're there playing, and Jerry Wexler's there, and he's like out there dancing, and he says, "Great band. You know what? You guys need to go to Montreux, Switzerland." He goes, "I'm going to call my friend Claude Nobbs. I'm going to talk to him about all this." Well, he does it short order. A couple of days later, we get an invitation to go. I got a spot. We've never been signed.
Wait, it was that gig was in Switzerland? It wasn't in France?
No, yeah, it was Montreux, Switzerland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All these years, I thought it was France.
Well, here we go. Okay. So we go, and we're the only electric band on this night because he just slotted us in because there was a time slot.
And it's a jazz festival.
Well, you know, it used to be Montreux Jazz, and they now call it International Music Festival. So it's kind of a mix of a lot of stuff. But that night was all like acoustic blues, upright and piano and guitar sitting on stools and that kind of thing.
Traditional.
There's that word again.
We get up, coming back to haunt you guys.
It's coming to haunt us again. So we get up there. We got all these electric instruments and stuff, and we start playing. And people are like, you think like they're sitting in a hurricane or something. And they're like, what the hell? And they go, boo! You know, it's like, and we're like, shit. We play.
I've seen that you can actually get this on DVD, and
yeah, no, it's a bummer because see, we're back in Texas making like $300, $400, $500 a gig. And the owners of our management group loaned us $15,000 to do this whole trip. We took everything over there because we can't be without our gear, you know. It's like, wow. And we're sitting backstage, and Stevie looks at me and goes, "Well, I didn't think we sounded that bad." And I went, "I didn't either." And all of a sudden it's like, yeah. And they go, David Bowie would like to meet with y'all. I went, which David Bowie? And they went, Mr.
David Bowie, the accountant? Like, yeah, no, yeah. The rock star.
David Bowie, the wrestler. No.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how that started. You know, we were there another night. We played downstairs. We didn't have a gig. We were just lollygagging on this loan. And so we played down in the musicians bar. So Jackson Brown and his guys came through, and he said, "Hey, you're in L.A., you can have my studio," which we did. We just recorded some tapes and, you know, all this. There's a whole bunch to this story, but they just kind of sat there until we went back to John Hamm and said, "Hey, Stevie's looking to do this thing, but we got these tapes that we recorded, legitimate tapes." Mm-hmm. And John Hamm was our white knight. He was our champion. He loved all of us. He loved the band. He thought Stevie was one of the greatest guitar players he'd heard since Robert Johnson.
Wow.
And he went to Epic CBS, excuse me, and there was a guy there, Greg Geller. He said, "Greg, you need to sign these guys up." And he said, "Yeah, I'll do it." He goes, "I'm getting ready to get fired anyway because I'm going to reissue the whole OK label because it's been out of circulation. They're going to fire me for that, so I'll let them also fire me for this." And he did that, and that's what happened. And the record came out, and you know, Stevie didn't go work with Bowie after the record, didn't do the tour, and off we were, you know.
Now, you know what I loved about that whole watching the concert footage of you guys when you get booed there in Switzerland for all these years, I thought it was France, is the fact that you could see it affecting you guys. Because you guys would play the song and then you'd boo or whatever. They'd boo, but then when you guys, one time I saw Stevie's shoulders kind of slump a little bit, but the second he goes to do a song, you count off the song, you guys played, you didn't hold back at all. And he just went just as hard. All of you guys, if you didn't hear the sound of the crowd, you would think that the way you guys were playing that you were doing what you always did, which was kill it. And I got a lot of inspiration out of watching that. just doing what I do or auditioning or stuff. You know, sometimes I get these acting gigs. I got to do some crazy stuff that you're sitting there in your head going like, oh my God, this is outside my comfort zone. And like seeing stuff like that is just like, just plow through this. Fuck them.
You know what? That was inspirational to me because I learned something there and I saw it in action. It wasn't told to me. Is that he had this passion and commitment. If he was sitting over there on that couch playing the guitar, he'd put the same thing into it as he would if we were playing in front of 100,000 people, because that's just how he lived. And I'm like, man, that's a great example. You know, because like, yeah, I kind of do this, and when the stakes get higher, I'll kind of put a little bit more juice into that kind of wishy-washiness. He was like full on 110% all the time.
So when you guys are riding on a tour bus, when he's noodling around, it sounds like he's already playing the show.
Yeah, because he's got the same passion and the focus and the commitment to what he's doing. He's not performing. You know, I mean, he's
God,
not
that
jumping.
must have been incredible to be around.
It's awesome. I mean, you know, I was spoiled right off the bat. You know, it's like I go, you know, this was early in my career, and it's funny. I talked to Mitch Mitchell about this, about the death of Jimi Hendrix, and it's like, it's a hard deal when you lose somebody like that. And you come to, in my case, I came to go, you know, I was grateful that I had the whole experience. Like, it was a hard thing to lose, but there were so many things that I got from that, just simple lessons. And, you know, I think they were in me. They'd been demonstrated, but they hadn't really taken root. But when you live them and you go, man, this is a great way to be. And you see that you get the result on every level. We're not talking about money success, right? Because our success was that our music was successful to us. It meant everything to us. We had a great time doing it together. And that you just go, it's self-evident,
right?
You know? And, you know, and somebody leads that, typically. Somebody's there to show you something. You go, wow, you know what? I dig that. That touched me. That meant something, and I'm going to grab onto that. And these are the great things in life, in my
opinion. And then unfortunately you fully realize it after the profoundness of losing somebody. I lost a great friend, Patrice O'Neill, a few years ago, and he was the guy. Like, I would compare, like, he was like the Stevie Ray Vaughan level guy, except doing like stand up. And you know, you just don't expect him. He was like 41 years old. You're not thinking that this is going to be the last time I get to see him perform and that type of thing. So it ends up having when you really go back and examine the whole basically experience, because I don't know if Stevie was the same thing. Like, being friends with Patrice was beyond being friends with him. It was like you walked out in public with him, and him just messing with people was this experience that, like, I've tried to tell the stories on the podcast and try to explain what it was like. You just can't when you're around that level of artist or just greatness or whatever.
I know the words were there's not enough words. You know, that's that thing that you don't know what you got till it's gone. You know, it's kind of
cliche.
It's cliche as hell, but
it's true.
You know, that's why it sticks. It's like, man, that was fabulous.
Yeah, I learned that awful lesson that like your friends. It's like it's. I can't explain that the friendship is not yours. It's like this thing that's given to you, and you just have to enjoy it. And then you got to be enjoying it because it's just taken away, or it goes in a different direction, whatever you want to say. And then you're just kind of left there, like, you know.
Well, you know, living in the moment, being able to actually live in the moment, and I know, to be grateful for your surroundings, because we can I get on my pity potty and all this shit, and go back to my Catholic guilt and shame, and all like, you know. I mean, it's true. I mean, Stevie, I was like, after he died, I was like, God, that guy really meant a lot in my life. And I go, half the time I wanted to strangle him. And I go, we were like brothers, like the brother. You know, he was like a brother I never had. He had a brother, you know, a real brother, But I go, you know, it's everything. It's always everything. There's our perception of the good and the bad or whatever it is, but essentially it's like everything was wonderful. It was life, and it was really wonderful.
I've always wondered, like, that's the time, like, you know, the loneliness of being a comedian on the road. But whenever I hear stories of bands, you know, being in a van together, just traveling and you know, just all this shit that you guys go through. Like, I've traveled with other comedians and stuff, and there's that thing where you just have to, after a while, be like, okay, there's going to be the late guy, there's going to be the addict, there's going to be the pussy hound, there's going to be the egomaniac, the dude who's got to sleep till 4. Like, there's just going to be that, and you got to understand that you're that guy somehow, but you can't see it because you're in yourself. So
absolutely,
there's something you're doing that is annoying the shit out of somebody else, and you have to somehow. Like, I got to be honest with you. Like, after years of touring with other comics and everything, this past year I did a tour with this comic Paul Verzi, and He's a New York guy. I'm a Boston guy, whatever. So we always argue sports. And we went up to toured all of Canada, and we basically spent every waking moment essentially with each other for about 10 days. And we never argued once. And it was just through years of being. He's also a really easy guy to get along with. But we ended up having a couple of inside jokes that we had, which always seems bands always have like inside jokes and your own catchphrases. And we just kind of tore through Canada, making each other laugh throughout the whole thing, and it wasn't until the end Verzi actually mentioned. He's like, "Dude, you realize we've done like 20 shows together, toured all over this goddamn tundra. We haven't argued once." And I was, I didn't even notice that. We're doing this stupid fake crying thing that was just making each other laugh, just saying over the top sensitive stuff like, "I just really like you as a friend." Just that dumb shit.
Oh, we had all that stuff.
Yeah, it just kept you going.
Yeah, we had like these alternate personalities when we realized that we were like really going insane on each other. Mine was Harold, or he'd call me Harold. What's Harold doing? And I go, "I don't know. What's she doing, Brady?" And the Brady's go, "Brady's just trying to have a good time." And we would actually stay in these characters for like an hour. I'm going, God, how sick are we? And then we'd come out of it and we could actually live with our circumstances because, it gets tight. And you
realize, like, not only is that genius comedically, that's also, if I had some sort of, psychology background, that's also probably red flags of slowly going insane.
No, I am insane. I think I've been actually somewhat restored to sanity, but, I'm still working on it.
Right.
It all goes to the 7 deadly sins. I'm trying to sort it out over here, Bill.
Oh, I know. Jesus, don't even talk to me about those.